Welcome into Softball Talk, episode 13. Coach, welcome back.
It's been, dude, what a great ride already.
Yeah.
I mean, the response that we get, the questions that we get, people that text us and talk about, last week we had Art Williams on here, coach for Spalding, and I had a lot of people that just randomly texted me and said he gave them some great information on recruiting.
Yeah.
Things that people didn't even think about or didn't cross their mind. So I think what we're doing is just trying to get good information out there for these young athletes when they do start getting into that recruiting stage, that they're not so stage fright.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, Art shed some light on that as to, that one, like you said from the beginning, Coach, it's okay to go up to these coaches and introduce yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've heard, I've read, don't approach them, don't approach them. And maybe it's, the smaller level call. Who doesn't like to put a face with a name and a personal hello,
Exactly.
And what's wrong with that? I think it's a great thing, right?
And the other thing is it shows that the kid is not scared.
Yeah.
Or intimidated.
Yes.
They have that, comfortable feeling to walk up and say, hey, coach, I'm so-and-so. I'm the one that has been emailing you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And again, if I was a college coach, I would truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
And Art said that he likes that as well. So, I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Coach, but yeah, before we move on, a shout out to Coach Williams at Spalding. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. I know that I've put it out there. My Twitter is at DanTheFanKY. Coach JB is at KYCoach_JB. Follow us. We've tweeted out Art's info there. Follow him. Follow the Spalding softball program. They did have a great season last year. And honestly, man, he's in it for the kids. He loves Kentucky girls, Southern Indiana girls. It's great to see a program like that has a nice facility, be able to flourish, do big things. And honestly, he's excited about this year, Coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll definitely follow with him. But thanks again, Art, for coming. And it really, Coach JB and I appreciate it, as well as I think all of our listeners did, Coach. Yep. Coach, big commitment alert coming out of the 6th region today, I think, right?
Today.
We're filming this on Thursday night this week. Coach, tell us about, I know it's a top prospects kid.
Yep.
A 6th region pitcher, kind of an all-purpose, whatever you need, she'll feel free to do it. Give us the rundown.
Well, and the other thing, most importantly, look, here's another kid who has had some injuries.
Yes.
Has battled back, stayed the course.
Yeah.
And basically just didn't throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
She stayed the course. She kept working. She stayed in her strength training classes, her pitching lessons, her hitting lessons.
Yeah.
Stayed the course. She playing travel ball out there. And, she texted me tonight or actually she come in and hit last night. She didn't want me to put it out last night.
Yeah.
The girls that you got to wait for me to put it out first.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you better get it out before tomorrow because guess what? I'm announcing it tomorrow. But, a shout out to Allie Richardson. She committed to Bellarmine University.
Yeah.
Going to stay home. So, we're going to get to see her play her next 4 years in college and be able to keep up with her. And I'm sure she's going to stay in the facility and keep hitting. If you know Allie, this kid can hit.
Yes.
You don't throw anything down the middle around her.
Yeah, she's strong. She's tall. She's long.
Yep.
She's got the perfect, hitter's body as well as she's got a great athletic body for it. And yeah, absolutely. And also has the personality for it, man.
Yeah.
Just an absolute ready to go. A great mentality. I know that Fern Creek's lucky to have her. And like you said, Coach, another one, just like your Maya Merrill, battled back from injuries. And I think it's important this time of year, Coach, that we talk about it is this time of year, we're getting into the early Decembers, the Christmas, we got through Thanksgiving. You might need to shut it down a little bit.
Well,
or taper it back. Taper
it back a little bit, I believe, and that's what we're going to do at my program at Mercy. We're not outside anymore. It's too cold. The girls are continuing with their strength training.
Yes.
But we're going to jump in the gym on Saturday mornings and do a little throwing.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is, and this has happened the past couple of years, is we get into early February, March, and we're trying to get ready to start our schedule, and all of a sudden I've got girls going to the trainer and their shoulders and arms are hurting.
Yes.
And, trainers coming to me going, good Lord, what are you doing to these kids? And
yes.
That's not it. But so we're going to continue with the throwing program on Saturdays, along with a little bit of glove work.
Yeah.
Pitchers and catchers are going to get over there and throw a little bit. And that's about all we're going to do indoors.
Yes. Well, I noticed in the since you started doing open fields, and then as it kind of started to get colder, you really started, and parents out there and young players learn this lesson because Coach JB kind of learned it the hard way. You've really incorporated the long toss into your program. And I noticed it more this year because a lot of your stuff's closed. I don't, I'm outside from the fence, but I've noticed that you really have pushed the long toss a lot more than you used to.
Yeah, we're trying to strengthen all that up a little bit. And, look, knock on wood if there's any around here right there. Yeah. I have not had one single kid this year complain about a shoulder problem.
Yes.
The other thing we did is we started focusing a little bit more in our warm-ups with a little throwing drill that we do. And I got this off of a college coach, and they incorporated in their throwing drills. And, usually in years past, the kids would go out there and they would just, throw the ball.
Right. They're just throwing it back and forth, popping the mitt, nothing. Right. No rhyme or reason.
And then they move back, and then they throw it more, and then they move back and they throw it more, and then so I went to more of a look before we start firing this ball. Let's work with a little bit of getting our arm and everything in a right slot. So we start with our hand here,
okay,
and we rotate back and come over the top and throw it. To get their arm in the right slot, the right throwing motion, because look, I've seen kids get their arms back here, get their arms way up here, come way down here on the side. All those are not good throwing positions. Yeah. And those are what causes shoulder injuries.
Yes.
So we started incorporating that when we first start throwing.
Okay.
And then we move back, isolate our lower half, twist the upper body, come through, throw it, and then we finish with the long toss.
Yeah.
One goes to one foul pole, the other goes the other foul pole, and we throw it as high as we can over to the other person. And it's helped tremendously. Arm strength, again, no shoulder problems this year.
Yeah. And I know that's got to be huge because as a coach, that's a tough pill to swallow when you have, anyone on the field that can't get rid of the ball and get it to where you wanted, as well as I know this long toss has to help your outfield.
Absolutely.
Because you're young in a few positions out there now, or you have some new people, some new roles that are being played by others.
Yep.
And for them to see that, or just to even visualize it to a degree, and I understand that it's not the same throw that the right fielders that you're looking for from home. You're looking for more of a missile shot, not a sky ball that they're throwing. But still, you're working that mechanic. And, Coach, it comes back to this is something that these kids and kids that are watching or parents, this is something that you can work on. Find an open field.
Absolutely.
Or find, a tennis ball even. That you're not throwing it as – but you're still working that mechanic to get better, to strengthen that shoulder in the off season, which, like you said, you would come back from break, you get through the holidays because we all kind of, it starts to really tighten up around Christmas. You get through the new year, and then everybody kind of comes back, and then that second and third week of January, everybody's ready to go. We're getting all excited, but then the injuries happen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then everyone's getting ready for tryouts. So maybe, if a shoulder is something, or as you're getting older, incorporate it.
Absolutely.
Because I think it has been invaluable for you because Madison, you can just tell the velo, the increased velocity from just doing that, the 10, 15 times this season.
Right.
And that's just definitely a positive from any position.
Yes.
You don't have to be an outfielder.
No.
And increasing that velo is something that we all look forward to.
Well, on top of that, too, with the outfielders, good throwing mechanics. But look, I'm trying to teach these kids who were never taught how to actually do a proper crow hop.
Yeah.
To really get your body into it. You got a kid rounding third, you got to gun that thing home.
Yes.
And to get into a good crow hop position with a nice strong arm is going to help you get that throw there a lot quicker,
Yes.
a little bit more accurate instead of selling it.
Yeah.
And, so again, those are things that I don't think are being taught. I mean, we set up cones, we set up hurdles, and we make them crow hop over the hurdles to get going. They have got to get into a good crow hop position when you're trying to gun somebody out at home, along with having good arm strength.
Yes.
And that makes the recipe for a great outfield.
Absolutely. Coach, we talked about, it's starting to get cold. You're starting to kind of shut down the outdoor things at Mercy. I do want to reach, I know we talk about everything here, but let's circle back to our home base at Mercy. I know you're continuing to improve the facilities there.
Yep.
I know you've, in the past, you've added new banners. You have redone the infield completely, new, warm-up circles for the hitters, sound systems, painted the dugouts. I mean, it really is. It's turned into an awesome thing over the last year and a half. New banners on the foul poles, and of course the new scoreboard edition, which we still need to show on this podcast. Coach, had a little bit of a fence problem. So this is, maybe not so much the players at this point, but parents, if you're watching, if you're running a field, if you're involved at one of our youth parks, Fern Creek, Germantown, Linden, J-Town, any of these, I'm sure they've seen a problem like this. Coach, give us a little bit, and this is a little off topic, but I think it could be helpful, Coach, to others out there, because you can't be the only coach or field around that's having this.
Well, the biggest thing is if I guess when they originally built the field, they used a very light, thin chain link fence.
And you have an 8-foot fence out in the
6 foot.
6 foot out in the outfield, and it's a black, and I think it's coated with that rubber. Fence that looks nice, but
when you get up on it,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yes.
So,
and it's fairly new, right? It's got to be what, 10 years, 12 years?
I think probably about 12 years
Okay,
old. But
okay.
but because it's so thin that every time the balls hit that fence, it caves in.
Yes.
It caves in. So what happens? They didn't put anything on the bottom of this fence. There should be rails down there to keep it
there's
from
not a bottom rail for the bottom of the fence.
to
Got
attach
it.
to.
Okay.
So now the fence is curling
Okay.
to the point to where we have openings in the field now.
Yes.
And look, we're high school softball. The last thing we want is to be in the middle of a game and a ball roll under our fence out of play, and a kid's holding their hands up in the outfield in a ground roll double.
Yes.
Or somebody dives for a ball and they get caught underneath of that fence because it's rolled up pretty bad.
Yes.
So, I took pictures of it. I went and talked to the president, and I said, more than anything, I think this is a safety issue.
Yes.
We could get a kid hurt out here. And, not to mention the embarrassment of balls rolling off the field in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
And she walked out there and looked at it, and she said, "You're right. This is bad."
Yeah.
So they're investing the money and redoing all my fence out there and adding rails to keep it from bowing up, and just another addition to what's going to make our facility it's spectacular. I mean,
Yeah.
We just keep doing things to it to make it better. I think we got new warning track material coming in at the beginning of the season also.
Yes.
They're going to redo all the warning track around there. So, look, they're putting money in it for us.
Yeah.
But I can't complain about it. I love our field.
Yeah. So, parents or people that are involved with different fields or parks out there, once we get it done, we'll make sure to Coach JB will post out some pictures, or we'll put it on Twitter. Definitely invest that extra money in that bottom rail to seat the bottom of that fence in to something.
Yep.
That way it will not curl. And I know we've all seen it, and a lot of times, grass and things like that. But because of the warning track, you have your warning track is a brick dust material on one side, and then the other side it's just finely kept with the string trimmer. But it definitely is something, Coach, because I mean, from what I've saw this fall, I mean, you've got kids diving after everything.
Oh yeah,
and that is because when you and I first spoke of it, I was like, I mean, come on, I mean, really, is this of all things, let's worry about something else, not a little bit of a fence. But then, you start thinking, and, what if, we're, and that is not something that we want.
No.
And that's something that we can take care of. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. They'll take care of it and make it even better than it was before.
Well, and again, we get this thing fixed and they do it right, and they put the rails on there, and we're going with a heavier gauge fence so that it won't bow in when balls hit it. It'll last. I mean, we'll be good for 20 whatever years.
Yeah.
But the other thing, kind of why we're bringing this up is you rec ball leagues, really pay attention to that, because at the bottom of that fence, some of them just are twisted and have those little spikes down there.
Yeah.
And if those are curled up in the infield,
right,
and somebody dives for a ball,
right,
you're going to get a spike in you.
Absolutely.
And that was the other thing that I was like, look, this is unsafe.
Yeah.
This has got to be fixed.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want is for one of our athletes or another school's athlete to be injured in the middle of a ball game. We don't want to see that. We never want to see that. So we're going to take the precaution, and we're going to fix something before it becomes a problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Something I did want to talk about also was, we're starting to go inside now. And so we've got some young listeners out there, Coach, that are like, okay, I'm in middle school now, or I'll be in high school in the next couple years. Coach, can you kind of give them a few different drills? Or I know you and I had spoke about it before. You can kind of go through what you like to do, but give them a little guidance out there on what, hey, maybe their coach isn't communicating a whole lot right now. Some of your travel teams really do shut it down completely, and you won't hear from them till next year sometime. So, maybe they're a younger kid that's motivated, ready to keep working. What are some things they could do?
Well, first off, just get you a partner.
Okay.
Mom, dad, a friend, and get a ball and get down in your fielding position and roll the balls back and forth to each other, working your glove work, working through the ball. Work your backhands, work your forehands, work all that, and keep doing that. Those little things, especially if you're a middle infielder. The biggest thing that I like to stress with my kids, which we're going to do when we get into the gym, is I know they're doing strength training, but we jump rope.
Okay.
I want you to be fast on your feet.
Okay.
Okay, light on your feet and be able to move laterally to go get balls.
Yeah.
So we will start jump roping in the gym for the next 2 months.
Okay.
Getting our footwork ready to go to be explosive. So we'll do that. We do a pretty cool drill with tennis balls without gloves.
Okay.
So I'll line the girls up on a baseline, and they'll take off, and I'll throw the tennis ball out there, and they have to track it with their glove hand
Okay.
and catch it with one hand. So we're learning to track the ball,
Mm-hmm.
go and get it instead of running with your hand in the air. We run, and then the hand goes up, and we catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about squeezing, right?
Yeah.
You want to squeeze that tennis ball.
Yeah. And keeping that glove tucked or that hand tucked.
But the biggest thing is you can't catch that tennis ball in the palm. So you got to catch it.
Okay.
Okay, because if it hits your palm, it's going to bounce out.
Yeah.
So we do that for the outfield, for all the kids basically. And that's about what we do in the gym is a lot of glove work,
Okay.
a little bit of conditioning, a little bit of running, a little bit of jump rope, and then we're going to bring that fancy machine we got in this year and put it in our drop down cage, and we're going to spend the rest of the time this winter continuing to hit.
Wow. So I guess that's something that I hadn't thought about as a fan is that bringing that indoors. I hadn't even considered it, honestly. So you'll be able to see the rise, the curve, the change up all through the wintertime and let these girls get work in on that as well.
Yep.
But a lot of things that Coach just spoke about, are things that you can do in your basement, in your home. If your sister has volleyball practice and you're at a gym and you can grab a corner with mom or dad or a friend and do those drills, or even just keeping a tennis ball and doing those glove drills or your mirror drills, right?
Exactly.
For your swings are all super important. Something else I did want to bring up, we are going to do a giveaway. So Jack's Batting Gloves reached out to us, and they actually saw our podcast where we talked about the gloves, and they sent us 3 pair of batting gloves for us. First of all, thank you so much, Jack's Batting Gloves, for doing that. We weren't trying to get anything out of the deal. We greatly appreciate it. But what Coach JB and I would like to do is to give a pair of the gloves away to, they're smalls. Yeah. To one of our listeners. So here is how you can do it. First of all, you need to go to our YouTube page. You need to be subscribed. You need to like the YouTube page or the YouTube video, as well as comment. And what I would like to see you comment is your graduation year from high school and your current travel team. How about that?
Or if you're a middle schooler, because we do have some of those that watch, just tell us what school you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And so whoever wins, we will be happy to send a pair of the gloves to you. Coach JB and I will draw a name randomly on our next episode. So you'll have until the first week of December, that Friday, I believe it's the 5th or 6th, to enter to watch this podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, come on over to YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Make sure you like it, and then leave us a comment, and we will send you a pair of, I think they're like $90. They did have a Black Friday sale, I think, that pumped them down to like $50.
Mm-hmm.
But, Coach, they're great batting gloves.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they've got the webbing, and I know we've talked about it at length, but super. They have awesome colors. I know Coach JB showed you the green ones. They've got bright pink ones.
Yep.
They've got the Mercy Blue. They've got every color that you can think of. And shout out to Danny over there at Jack's for sending us that. And he even sent us a nice little note. So we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing that. Dan the Fan here. Huge giveaway this week on our podcast. Jack's Batting Gloves sent us awesome gloves for you, the listeners. Make sure that you subscribe to our social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you comment on our YouTube video. It comes out Monday, December the 4th to be entered to win. Watch the video Monday, December 4th. Thanks, Softball Talk. Coach, I did want to touch on something else. This time of year, a lot of your high school players, or maybe even some of your older middle school players, are starting to do college camps.
Yep.
Um, and I know, for, your sophomores and your juniors, it can be a little intimidating going into it. Do you have advice for those players that are going out there? And maybe, I know you're really involved with a lot of girls at Mercy and your Freedom teams with their recruitment and talking to coaches for them, or sending emails for them, or reaching out to coaches for them. So a lot of kids probably don't have that.
Right.
Advice for players that are going out to these camps for the first time.
Well, the biggest thing is if you're younger, if you're a freshman, you're sophomore, I mean, you understand you're not going there to get recruited that weekend.
Correct.
You're going there to get some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of these coaches are pretty good at these camps about talking to you and giving you a little bit of feedback. Okay. And that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, that doesn't mean that if you go there and you stand out,
Right.
I mean, your glove work is really good, your footwork is really good, that somewhere they're not going to jot your name down.
Right.
And remember you and keep track of you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's really nothing to be nervous about. You're just going there to get some feedback and maybe to pick up a few new things.
Yeah.
Something new. Maybe see if, are they teaching me what my high school coach is teaching me?
Right.
And most of the time, if it's pretty similar, then you can feel pretty good about what you're learning from your high school coach.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But again, don't be nervous. A lot of times they have their college kids there and they're working it and they're helping run the drills but the coaches are walking around and they may pull you off to the side and give you a little bit of feedback, or something like that. And at the end of the day, that's really kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that going through it the first few times, it was a little nerve-wracking when you pull up there and everyone's, has their stuff and, different kids. But I think it comes down to is be yourself.
Yep.
You've already learned everything, a lot of stuff to make you competitive. And at the end of the day, have fun and relax, and it is what it is. And they'll leave your mark, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And don't sweat it,
No.
because at the end of the day, their roster could already be filled for that year. You never know. There's so many moving parts in college.
Yep.
But I think it does shake down. And Coach, this is just circling back to something you said at the beginning is to kind of have your 5 schools.
Yep.
That you've kind of preached from the beginning, and make sure you keep that path open.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. And another thing that I did really want to follow up on is keeping your options open,
Yep.
your doors open. A player that I know had went to a camp, and there were some coaches there, and she really liked this one coach, but talking to her, she's like, I don't think I would ever really attend that school.
No.
It's not really, they don't really offer my degree. And I said, yeah, but, and here's the thing. What if, you really like that coach? What if next year they get the job at, X university?
Right.
Or they move, or they
Right.
transfer as well, because that can happen. And I think sometimes, I know a lot of kids, know that, they think that, parents do, but sometimes we all need that reminder of, hey, things change very, very quickly, especially in this sport at the end of the season when schools are rushing to fill vacancies, that things can change.
Well, not only that, but remember Art last week, what was the biggest thing he said is coaches talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, they may not have a spot for you at this school,
Yeah.
but his buddy over here may be looking for a catcher, a shortstop, whatever.
Yeah.
And he might call him and say, hey, man, this kid was at my camp today.
Yes.
You might want to take a look at her. Here's her information.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would never close the door. The other thing, too, is that if a college reaches out to you and invites you to their campus to do a walkthrough or whatever, don't ever turn that down.
No.
Go and check it out.
Yeah.
Leave those doors open.
Yeah.
Don't just don't throw all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes that one egg may not work out.
Absolutely.
But you got to have something to fall back on, because if you don't, then you're left stranded.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're wondering, and then you're scrambling at the end of the season trying to figure out what or if or am I going to keep playing or not, because we have heard those stories, Coach. And, and you hate it for those kids, because in a lot of instances they're great players.
Yep.
The whole recruiting thing kind of just turned upside down for them pretty quickly.
The way I see it is there's a place for every kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
There really is.
Yeah.
And if you want to play college ball, there's a place for every kid.
Yeah, 100%.
At somewhere you can go play ball.
Yeah.
But that's why you got to leave your options open, and you got to really get out there. They're not going to know who you are if you don't go to camps.
Yeah.
Or if you're not putting yourself out in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's why I play a lot of Sean's Transi's tournaments, his showcase tournaments, because he has all those coaches there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been to our games. They all come and watch us play.
Absolutely.
And they come over and hang out in my dugout, and they talk to me, and I've got a good relationship with all those coaches. So somewhere we can work it out to get you somewhere, but you can't close those doors.
Yeah, and academically, I mean, what a solid group of schools too. I mean, Transy, Center, Midway. I mean, you've got some great academic institutions also that maybe sometimes we don't always think about, hey, that's extremely important as well.
Absolutely.
And you have some great people too that are in those dugouts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Coach, big week this week. We had the commitment. That was awesome. One last thing I did want to touch on before we go this week. Equipment drive. You and I had kind of spoke about it.
Yep.
A park around here has kind of reached out to us, and we're gonna we'll get more details on that soon. But what we want to do is if you're out there listening and you have an old glove in your garage or an old helmet, an old bat, anything you got, cleats, whatever, we are going to collect these and distribute them to all the different rec parks around the city that would like the stuff.
Yeah.
We understand that the game of softball, although it is affordable, it can maybe hinder some people from being able to play.
Right.
And I know a lot of these parks, I know Troy at Fern Creek does a great job of it, trying to subsidize families, especially young families that are, you have an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, they're just starting their family, they're getting their first house, and then they've got 4 kids playing t-ball or travel ball. So Coach JB and I had talked about it. What we would like to do is if you have any of this equipment, bags, bats, mask, even if it's baseball stuff, that's fine too. We would like to collect it. And what we're going to do is Coach JB is going to have a bin at Top Prospects of Louisville.
Yep.
As well as we'll have one at Mercy Academy somewhere.
It'll be kind of tough, but
okay,
you can kind of contact me and I could take it and set something up somewhere around my office over
Why
there.
don't we do that? So if you're not around Louisville and you can drop it off at Top Prospects.
Yep. And we'll put the address up there.
Yes.
It's 4612 Pinewood Road. We'll put that address on the bottom link there. And but if you have whatever you have that could help, and sometimes, people just don't have the money to, and we're trying to work with a couple of the leagues around to help them come up with a way to have money to be able to help people that truly cannot afford to get their kid into T-ball or
correct.
whatever. So we're meeting with them and we're trying to work with that on the side. But in the meantime, we'd like to collect some equipment and
Yes.
help some people out.
Yeah, I mean, you have some old, you've moved up to 12U, 14U, so now you have some young the little softballs, what were they?
11-inch.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what they were, but you have a bucket of those or whatever. Coach JB and I will put it to good use. So you can drop it off at Top Prospects, or you can direct message Coach JB and I on Twitter. I'm at Dan the Fan KY. He is at KY Coach _JB. You can also email us, coachandthefan@gmail.com, and we will take that and we will set something up. Whether we need to pick it up, we'll figure out a place or a time to get it. But it's just another way, Coach, for us to try to grow the game, maybe to help out some less fortunate people that want to play. And things happen. Maybe you're going through a tough time. Your kid wants to play 8U and they can't get a mask. They're $50. So maybe you have an extra one, an old one.
Or, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we all know how much these bats cost.
Yeah, right.
And you may have a kid that has outgrown their bat and they're swinging a little tiny bat and they need a bigger bat. Yeah. And their family just can't afford to get them one.
Yeah.
So, bats, gloves are the main things.
Yeah.
We just want to help these people out there that need it. And, and again, we're just trying to grow the game.
Yeah.
We're trying to put good information out there. And, I mean, look, if I didn't love it as much as I do, I wouldn't spend so much time doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, I coach my Freedom team. I coached at Mercy. I'm always doing open fields. I do my hitting lessons. That is trophies for me are getting those texts on the weekend of little Susie got her first hit.
Yes.
And they send me the video. Dude, just the smile on these kids' faces. And then they come in my facility and they're so excited. That's why I do this.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that these kids can continue to do this out there.
Yes.
And if we can help, let's help.
Absolutely. Coach, I don't know if you even want to touch on it. I know we are in the Christmas season now. Your Mercy team did something pretty cool last night.
Yeah. So we do this every year. We go through the, you have to help me out.
Angel Tree?
Yes. And we always get a family. This family that we got this year had four kids.
Yes.
All different ages.
Yes.
Like from little to older.
Yeah.
And so they give us a little wish list of what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And our girls went out yesterday and went shopping and made a day of it and went and ate dinner together last night. And so we've been doing this is like our third or fourth year doing this.
Yeah.
And the girls absolutely love it.
Yeah. So Coach JB has a mom that kind of spearheads this entire thing. She's the accountant. She's the shopping police. She makes sure everybody has their role of what they're doing. And I tell you what, I think the girls had a blast. Mine was exhausted. She said, man, Dad, it was hard to try to, shop, but at the same time, it was fun.
Oh, they love it. They absolutely. And so I usually we get the family through RXD. RXD sets this up through their sports training. And I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah.
And so Maya's mother is Carrie is the one that handles everything.
Yes.
So she started blowing my phone up, and she's like, "Hey, this is a tradition.
Yeah.
We need to get on this."
Yeah.
So I started calling and hounding, and finally they came through on Tuesday with our family, and the girls just absolutely love it because they're doing something good for people.
Yeah.
And they truly enjoy doing that. And they have fun doing it as a team.
They do. They do. Absolutely.
And,
see each other outside the field, something different. They do the dinner. They had lunch together. They all went to McAllister's, had a nice afternoon out of it, Coach. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of, the whole purpose of why we're here in, the school's initiative, it's just a great thing.
Absolutely.
And that, so that, at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're trying to do with the equipment drive and coming up with some stuff. So like I said, if you have cleats or anything like that, make sure you try to wash them or clean them up a little bit for us. But that is our goal, is to present, reach out to these places. I know that they all need it, and to try to somewhat, put some stuff in their equipment room to keep the game going, because, Coach JB and I both started in rec league.
Yep.
And I think it's really, really important to any community to have a rec league with rec parks that, that field that we all kind of go to, and, to get some grounders in with our daughters.
Yeah.
That field, if it wasn't for those rec leagues, that field wouldn't be there.
That's right.
And so we need to make sure to support that for this next generation coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next week, hopefully we have another special guest in. We will continue to talk about things happening as we're kind of winding down the 2023 year. Coach JB and I are going to start giving some district projections. Regional projections.
Yeah, so through the next couple months here leading up into the season, we're going to break all the regions down and just kind of give our little projection of who we think is, and again, we'll keep track of it and see if it comes to light, and try to see if we can pick these teams out. Just our little pick we'll do every week as we break the region down. And there's some good ones out there, man.
Absolutely.
There's some tough regions. And I tell you what, 7th region, woo.
Oh, that's going to, I'm telling you
that's
now.
going to be hard to pick.
Absolutely it is. And
Dude, you got Ballard, you got Mel, you got Assumption in there, you got Manual in there, you got Eastern in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
Hey, and, there's lots of unknowns too. We think we know what's going on at Manual, but I mean, maybe the whole vibe can change there. And then, our first guest, Hallie at Eastern, she's got it, she's ready to win this thing.
Yeah.
And that kid is driven. She's still working every day, getting better. So I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see, and the season's right around the corner, Coach.
Oh, as soon as we get through Christmas and New Year, it's on us.
Buckle up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. To win the Jack's batting gloves, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this video on YouTube, and leave us a comment. Your graduation year and your team or your position or something cool like that, and we will pick a winner next week at our podcast, and we'll get those gloves to you. But yeah, we're super excited that Jack's reached out to us.
Yep, that was cool.
And we'll continue to see you guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We will leave all the info on the screen about where to drop off things for the drive, and we'll have more information as we get closer to Christmas.
The other thing is when you go on that YouTube page, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah,
we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to give away something really cool.
Yeah,
when we reach that 1,000 subscribers. So look, it's free to just click that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just jump on there and subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit the like button. Throw us a comment.
Or dislike.
Coach
JB likes a thumbs down.
Yeah.
So hey, either way, we're fine.
Again,
with
these are just our opinions. So if you
yeah.
don't like our opinion, sorry.
Hey, thumbs down, or leave us a comment and let us know what we did wrong, because I can promise you, everything I do is not right.
The other thing that I want to throw out there too, and we're going to add the link at the bottom of the page here, the video here as well, is we have some cool
oh yes,
softball
absolutely.
talk gear.
Yeah, so we have Coach JB. Someone reached out to you that that created basically a fan shop for us.
Yeah,
and it's awesome actually. There's little stuff, there's big stuff there. You can order one thing. It's all super reasonably priced.
Yeah.
It helps the show. We want to get another camera, so anything we do with that is going to help us get another camera. But yeah, it's awesome merch. Coach JB will share more pictures of stuff next week for that, but we will put the link in this video.
Yep,
as
and they'll
well
mail
as
it
on our Twitter.
They'll mail it directly to your house.
Oh, and it's like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
10 days.
10 days, yeah.
10 days.
So, shout out to them as well, Coach. I don't have the exact stuff, but we'll add it to here.
Yeah, we'll add it
for the
on there
thing, so.
on the end there. But hey, kids, it's getting to that time when we're getting close to tryouts. Again, Christmas is coming, New Year's is coming. Don't stop working.
Yeah.
It's getting close. Think about it. February 15th,
Dude.
tryout day.
Hey, it's coming. I'm telling. I mean, as soon as you get through Christmas,
Our first
And
game
Year's.
is March 11th.
unbelievable. And we need to rehash our schedule
Yes.
because honestly, whew,
So,
buckle up, baby.
And I've added a few doozies here in the past couple days too.
Hey, there you go. Hey, to be the best, you got to beat the best,
right.
right? Yeah. Softball Talk episode 13, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you. Shout out to all of our guests that have been on. Shout out to Art last week for coming on. We will see you all next week on Softball Talk.
Absolutely.